Once upon a time, in a quiet, sun-dappled meadow, nestled beside a river that twinkled like a ribbon of stars, there lived a little rabbit named Milo. Milo had the softest, whitest fur you could ever imagine, and his ears were so long they could almost touch the tips of the tallest blades of grass. But for all his fluffy charm, Milo was very, very shy. Any sudden noise, like a snapping twig or a frog's loud croak, would make his heart hop much faster than his feet. New places felt overwhelming, and meeting new friends seemed like the scariest adventure of all. Every single evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, all the animals of the meadow would gather under the ancient, wise branches of the big oak tree. This was story time. The wise old owl, Professor Hoot, would share tales of the stars. The playful squirrels, Pip and Squeak, would chatter about their acrobatic feats in the treetops. Even the slow, steady tortoise Sheldon would recount his long, patient journeys. Milo loved listening to these stories. He would hide behind a thick tuft of clover, his long ears twitching with every word, his imagination soaring with every tale. But he was always too afraid to speak, to share a story of his own. His own voice felt too small, too quiet for such a grand gathering. He worried the other animals might laugh, or worse, not even hear him at all. One particular evening, the moon began its slow climb into the night sky, glowing like a gentle silver lantern, casting long, soft shadows across the meadow. Milo was nibbling on a sweet dandelion leaf, lost in his thoughts, when he heard a tiny, almost silent flutter. A small, fluffy baby bird, no bigger than a ripe strawberry, had fallen gently into the tall grass right near him. The little bird looked lost and frightened. "Cheep, cheep," it cried, its voice a tiny, hopeful whisper in the vast, quiet night. Milo's nose twitched, and his heart did its familiar fast-hopping dance. His first instinct was to scamper away and hide in his cozy burrow. But as he looked at the tiny, trembling bird, he felt something else bubble up inside him, something stronger than his fear. It was kindness. The baby bird looked so helpless, so alone. Milo knew he couldn't just leave it there. Taking a deep breath, he whispered, his voice barely louder than the rustling leaves. "Don't worry, I'll help you." Carefully, Milo began his journey. He hopped through the meadow, which suddenly seemed like a huge, mysterious jungle. The tall flowers looked like giants in the moonlight, and the sleepy butterflies folded on their stems seemed like silent guardians. He passed the whispering reeds by the river and tiptoed around a grumpy badger who was snoring loudly in his den. With every hop, Milo's courage grew a little bit bigger, kept the image of the lost baby bird in his mind, and it gave him strength. Finally, he reached the old oak tree where the other animals were just beginning to settle in for their nightly stories. Milo's heart was pounding in his chest, but he knew what he had to do. He hopped into the center of the clearing, a place he had always avoided. "Help!" he called out, his voice surprisingly clear and strong. "A baby bird has fallen. It's lost its mother." The animals all turned, their eyes wide with surprise to see shy Milo speaking so boldly. Immediately, the meadow sprang into action. Professor Hoot flew to the highest branch to get a better view. The squirrels chattered alerts through the trees. Just then, a frantic, beautiful bird swooped down from the sky. It was Mama Bird, and her eyes were filled with worry. Milo led her straight to her lost baby. Mama Bird gently scooped up her little one, hugging it tightly with her wings. She turned to Milo, her voice like a soft, sweet song. "Thank you, little rabbit. You saved my baby. You are very brave." The very next night, under the comforting branches of the big oak tree, something amazing happened. Milo didn't hide behind the clover. He walked right into the circle of animals and stood up tall. His long ears still trembled a little, but when he spoke, his voice was steady and proud. "I helped someone today," he announced. The animals all smiled. They didn't just listen, they cheered. They clapped their paws, their hooves, and their wings in a thunderous applause for the shy little rabbit. From that day on, Milo learned a very important lesson. He learned that being brave doesn't mean you're never scared. It means doing something good and kind, even when your heart is hopping and your ears are trembling. And every night after that, as Milo drifted off to sleep in his warm burrow, he dreamed of moonlit meadows, happy friends, and the wonderful feeling of a kind heart.